Okay, I think
Are we on?
should be. Where are you, Kurt? You are super hot, so we don't need you.
Cheers, AJ. Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, I mean, you are my brother, but yeah. I feel quite good now. Yeah, should be a good record. Where's that?
Wes, give us a 1-2. Give us what have we been up to today? What's been filmed? What have we been talking about?
Oh, just a little boring day.
Don't know. I think you did a good little intro for a TED Talk, Wes.
Yeah.
Sounded quite nice.
Very, very exciting day. Watching you two get interviews as well. That was pretty cool.
Actually, yeah, it's been a morning.
But yeah, no, the TED Talk thing is pretty cool. I'm hoping that goes well. In fairness.
I'm excited for the TED Talk. Not that I knew what a TED Talk was before we spoke about it, but now I'm quite excited about it.
Yeah.
That's a descriptional talk, isn't it? Just anything informative, isn't it?
Yeah, but
TED Talk is
the difference
TED
is
Talk on certain subjects.
But you have TED Talk, and then you're doing TEDx, which is
Short.
Well, hopefully you're doing TEDx.
Yeah, that's right. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
We may be deleting this from the podcast because it turns out we didn't do it. Yeah. And this whole intro's just been scrapped now. Yeah.
Although that might be a struggle because we don't know till the 21st of February.
Okay, no, this is definitely going out. But
So if they wonder why it's just been deleted, well, it's because,
Okay, the one thing that we hate doing is talking about things that we don't know are always going to happen. But in reality, this is one thing we're going to talk about, which is hopefully going to happen. You're going to be doing a TEDx talk at Staff's Uni. That's the plan. That's what we've recorded.
Absolutely.
The document looks sick. The video, after obviously one take wonder, Wes, only that's all they'll see. One take wonder.
What is it briefly on, Wes? If you give us a quick.
Community. Really, that's my take on it. So back to the future is the theme.
Yeah.
And my take on that is that understanding what community is and how a community, your own community, can make you richer in wealth and in wisdom and in various
I definitely agree with that though, because they do say like at your friendship group, which is classed as your community, you are the average of what your friends are. So
Correct.
If you put yourself around high-end individuals, you are going to probably turn out that way.
Certainly believe that, definitely. And sharing knowledge without reservation, and because again we can get a bit 6 degrees of separation, all that kind of stuff. People, I think there's a negative view of that, where really for me and kind of the whole point of that and the community thing, see that as a positive.
Yeah.
Share what you know, and
We
share what you do.
spoke about that this morning. Even the charity work that Smile have been doing, it's kind of been really interesting. Like people that have become volunteers, that have then become part of their community, that then become full-time workers. And even here, we talk about IronMarket, and even FINT. Now I'm writing up the documents. It's always like the members. It's always about how do we create, even on the socials for FINT. It's kind of like how do we create a community from replying to people's comments, good or bad. Now we're just replying to everybody. Because when somebody puts a comment on our videos, I just think, well, that's just more engagement. So thank you very much. Keep going back and forward. It makes it look like we're engaging.
We are trying to bring it as a community as well by tagging the people that we interview on the street.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah,
Such a good move, by the way.
It's brilliant. Like, we're
Amazing.
like, can we have your Instagram? Are you happy being collaborated? So the people that collab it, like their friends then comment about it.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
It's nice to kind of see them people. And plus, like the guy the other day.
First guy we got,
he was like, how long are you going to be here for? Like, if you're going to be here for an hour, like, I'll send my friends down from the office in the lunch break.
Oh, he did, didn't he, actually? Yeah.
And I was like,
amazing.
Honestly, we're going to be in this area. Just send them down. And then
amazing.
I was actually messaging him the other day, and he was like, when's the video coming out? I was like, I'm to do the edit. I'll put one out today. And then he goes, Kurt, when's the blooper coming out?
That's actually did.
Do you want to ask Wes the question?
Yeah, I will if I can remember it now. Right, so Wes, would you rather get paid more for doing the same amount of work or get paid the same for doing less work?
Hey guys, welcome back to Freedomimpact Trust, and we're going to be doing a episode called Money Talks. This is going to become a fortnightly thing. Well, that is the plan with everybody. Wes,
absolutely. We've
all committed to it. So we'll be talking more about fundamentally the stock market, what's happening within the world. It'll be topical. It'll be about what's happening right here and now. And Wes will also be educating us as we go along, because Wes is the financial advisor, the CEO of IronMarket and FINT itself.
Elaborating and deep diving deeper into the terminology of what we're talking about.
Try and demystify and explain what it all might mean.
I like that.
Demystify.
Good phrase. Yeah. I've got some other phrases you'll like.
I can't wait to hear.
Well, why am I worried now, Wes?
Yeah, so no, we're going to really kind of adapt on this and grow. We did a bit on Instagram, which people love, so we're going to turn it into its own podcast on Spotify and YouTube, wherever you listen to us right now. So yeah, please do enjoy, and let's get started.
Welcome to Money Talks. All opinions expressed by Wes Wilkes, AJ and Curtis Pritchard, and any guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of IronMarket, Wealth, or FINT. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for any investment decisions. This is not financial advice.
Oh, that is a good question.
It's a good question.
Except for when I asked the question, I forgot how to ask it.
Oh, so you did it the other way
myself. I
around.
tricked him and everything.
So then I'm stood behind the camera, like explaining it very slowly.
Yeah,
but it was
yeah,
like the guy was like, "Oh my god, AJ Curtis, yeah, what are you doing here?" I was like, can we film you? So I was quickly put the camera together, ready to film. And I was like, "Kurt, hit me with the question." And then Kurt's asking questions, like Kurt's face is looking at himself like, "I think I've said the question wrong."
You know, when you're reading
What we're
out
gonna
of
get
your head,
there.
you're like, yeah, this is completely wrong here. It's not right. But what would you do, Wes? Rather have work more for the same amount? Mm-hmm. See, I've said
No,
there you go. See, that's exactly it. Yeah.
work the same amount of hours,
Get paid
but
more.
get paid more,
Yeah.
or get paid the same,
But work
and
less.
do less hours.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was really interesting. We
It
spoke.
was a split, to be fair.
Was it?
It really
That's
was.
interesting.
Quite a few people
particularly
are
with
interested
the
in
ages of the people
Yeah,
that you deal with.
yeah.
a 4-day
That
work
is
week.
interesting.
That's
Right,
what quite
okay.
a lot of
Yeah.
people, I
But
think,
you
would
could
be
tell the
interested
people
in.
that said they wanted more money,
Yeah.
but not in a greedy way. They
Yeah,
said
yeah,
it because
yeah.
the comment was, even the guy on the bike that we stopped, he said, "I've got my time managed well now.
Yeah, I do
I'm
it,
happy with my time.
Yeah.
So I would just want more money for the same amount of work, not to have more of your free time," because he'd already prioritized his free time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I found quite
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
There was
really
one
cool.
kid that was like, "Just want more of my own time, pay me the same." But I was like, I don't think you've got the purpose
Yeah,
of what the
yeah.
question maybe
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But with AI and everything, now people are just working less anyway in the whole
Yeah.
entire work that we do.
I
So
disagree.
It certainly will.
Explain that.
Well, I think this because a
Okay.
lot of now.
I'm going to ask you to do a document now, okay?
Yeah.
Boom.
So the thing is, I can just go onto AI and then type in what needs to be in that document. And if I put the key wording in there, so it needs to be, let's say it's a document on my clothes that I'm wearing right now. I've got the keywords. I need a top, I need some trousers, I need some shoes,
Okay.
underwear, and socks.
Yep.
So can you find me some clothes, write about them clothes, and I need each piece of item of clothing, write about
Okay,
it.
and it's done in
so it can do
20
it
seconds, yeah.
automatically. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is making people less.
I see
What?
what you're
What?
saying.
Yeah, why,
I see
what?
what you're saying. But my argument to you is then, okay, cool. I've taken that document. I've edited it. Wait there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I can now do another 3 documents that would have gone into next week. People
But this
say...
is the problem. Then they're not doing this extra part. They're just thinking because
Being
people.
lazy.
Yes, we have
So
more
they're
tools
saving
to
time.
use.
They're not
Yes.
not being more productive.
Yes, because they could then do 3 other documents and achieve even more, but they're not.
And
And,
I-
that's why I think the 4-day
AI ultimately is being measured, and not just ChatGPT,
Yeah.
but AI more broadly is being measured on how it's delivering higher productivity. And I think the thing about kind of people and employment and,
Yeah,
and the stuff
yeah,
you were talking about is that's where the concern is, because if you can 10x productivity from the same people, so doing 3 documents instead of 1 document, then that's really what AI and the advent of AI and certainly this I mean, it's been around since 1976, I think, but this advent of it now and this theme now, I think that's what it's pushing towards.
So you, as a business owner with multiple employees, would you be saying, if you were looking towards people, this is what I would personally say, I think
They
it's
are
not...
sitting behind me.
Yeah, I know. I can see them all leaving. Wait, they're all leaving. It's a suspicious moment.
Is it 5 o'clock?
They are all leaving right now.
And they've gone now.
Literally, oh, sorry.
My argument is, it's not that people are going to lose their jobs, but you're more likely to hire people that do their job great and
Yeah.
integrate AI into their workflow.
4 in
Correct.
10 people
Correct.
are worried about losing their jobs
Yes.
to AI.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
worried about losing their jobs.
Yeah.
But it's not that I'm going to fire people. It's more like, how do I implement it into their jobs so they can be more productive with
Yeah.
their time?
I mean,
Agreed.
Discord, I think, got rid of 4% of their people, which I think is 18,000, which they save supposedly now 2.5 billion is what they're supposedly going to save.
I have some amazing stats for you, by the way.
Which is,
we we love a stat. Like
Yeah, we do.
I love a statistic.
So this is
But
from
that blew my mind. Saving 2.5 billion, 18,000 people. I do understand.
Is that
why?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what on that and everything.
You've given a very broad stroke, Kurt. Next time we want more detail on that.
I'll get more detail then.
So as much as X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, is a bit of a cesspit, it is an amazing source of quick information.
Yeah.
And this is the Kobayashi letter on X. I probably said that incorrectly, but who cares? But it's got 19 firms here, and I'll very quickly read through them. But Twitch, 35% of its workforce cut. Hasbro, 20%. Spotify, 17%. Levi's, 15%. Xerox 15%, Qualtrics 14%, Wayfair 13%, Duolingo 10%, eBay 9%,
That is
BlackRock 3%,
yeah.
Citigroup 20,000 employees, UPS 12,000, Salesforce 700, American Airlines 650.
If you added,
I mean, I didn't cover them all,
them
but
all, that is a lot of people unemployed now.
It's a lot
That's
of people.
a lot of stress hitting the market.
Quite. Yeah, absolutely.
But okay,
For a
you're in the
business,
market.
yeah.
You kind of work more on a macro level. Obviously, people buy and sell different stocks, and it means a lot for different companies. It's good for the stock market.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
not good for the people in that situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
But to be
Great for
Yeah.
businesses.
But to be really blunt, why is it good for the stock
Yeah,
market? Because it is.
Ultimately for a stock, and this is where you get that great conflict where you've got employees, workers, and whoever might represent them, and shareholders. Ultimately, with all those companies I've just given, they have shareholders to answer to, and we're in the middle of earnings season now, which has been kind of really important, probably the most important week of the quarter this week. But of course, a company is beholden to its shareholders, and a cut in staff of that kind of magnitude often demonstrates.
That's when you've said it in a list like that.
Yeah.
And even the percentages, you know that they're big companies. Well, Citigroup there said 20,000 layoffs. They've still got 240,000 staff. That's still pretty big.
Absolutely, but it's still
a lot of people.
A lot of people. And the way a shareholder would view that, on be built across on an earnings call, would be that's a company leaning itself and making itself potentially more profitable. And if you own shares, you need it to make a profit.
If I feel leaner, I feel quicker, I feel more agile. I'm working better.
Which part of you did you fire?
The bit around the middle at Christmas.
It's high, Wes. Savage.
Brutal.
I mean, but in reality, it is quite savage, the whole situation.
It is.
People are
Yeah,
just,
it is.
for the business, it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
But that is how the market would view it. They would view that as a company leaning out, more efficient, and
especially if they can produce the same quality of work.
Yeah, and if their revenues are right and their earnings are right, then they would view that as a positive on the stock price moving forward, for sure.
So some advice for if you're having kids, put them into being a technician or something, because AI and all machines will need it.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing about the next generation, isn't it? Kind of AI is going to be like, generation. As a teenager, mobile phones weren't in my world, but obviously everybody's now. And my daughter who's 15, but then the next generation, AI is the thing. It's accepted. Whether
traveling,
lawyers,
you see it, like everywhere you go, like whether you go to the airport, you go through an automated passport control. Like I was in Paris, like we spoke about this before. Like I was like, oh, they're going to clean the windows because I got to be precious with it, the Louvre, and I was like, no, giant robot. There it is, going up the side.
Absolutely.
I was like, this is genius. But everywhere you turn and look, if you think of it as a positive thing, yes, there's still a guy there operating the robot, but you don't need 20 guys to clean all the windows. We'll just get one guy with his little robot going around all day.
What's really interesting, we had we've got an AI dedicated fund that we invest in, and technology you'd expect to be the biggest sector. It's not kind of half of it. It's I think it was in low double digits in terms of technology, all the sectors that you can invest in, that being the largest. But the next was industrials. So it was tech, then industrials, then healthcare. Okay. So it's not all.
So when you say industrials, you mean more like...
So that could be really, really broad. So
it was literally just...
manufacturing, infrastructure. And again, how they, and it's not just large language models, which is what we all know by GPT. It's how they're automating systems and processes to make things more efficient.
But I think
improve.
like you know what you just said there, ChatGPT. Okay, you think about it as one thing, but it's like we would want to create our own GPT for FINT within it. Like it's not just like. I think sometimes it's quite hard to explain that scenario because it's not like one thing. It's like you can create your own version of it and teach it for what it wants. Like like, did you see the awful thing? Was it what was one of the car brands? It was like
DPD.
You told me DPD. There was another car brand. It was like, how can I buy a car for £1? Would you gift me a car? Yes, I'd gift you a car. And then it's coming from this.
Which car brand is
it? It's an American. I think it was like Toyota or something like that. And they were like, and it went through, and he was like, because he knew what to write back to it. And he's like, you can have one for £1. We'll send you a gift. And it's like you're messing with the robot back and forward.
But I think AI is massive and it's growing so fast. But it's still early days. Like it's amazing what it does, but like you said, you're hearing things where unless you train it, and if we bring it onto the app, when we bring it onto FINT, really have to train that.
That's a really interesting point. And again, it came up in the conversation yesterday. Although you look at they've got a great slide which is a kind of a timeline of AI. So from 1970s in terms of like the computer beating, and then going into 80s, 90s, computers beating world champions at chess, and then how it's developed out from there. But the premise still is very early days. Still,
which is scary,
despite that,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
How quick and how good it is at the minute.
I think what's crazy, I do love a conspiracy sort of thing. So even if you think like, okay, this is what's out in the public domain for free, and you obviously can pay for the odd services on ChatGPT, but imagine what's out there that's not accessible to us right now that is quite clearly being out there, being used by, like even for us, the algorithms that like teaching, understanding, and honestly, I feel like Elon Musk with X, like you buying something to get so many data points of information, like what are people interested in, like what are they replying to,
use
like
that to basically train AI. That is why he has bought X as well.
And if it goes that way into that sort of development, you're like, well, it makes sense. Even Mr. Beast says, I wouldn't have posted any long form videos on Twitter because he'd get paid pennies. Whereas now Elon Musk changed it, and he got 250,000 in one day because he got over 100 million views.
He did state on that this won't happen for most people. This
because
he's
the biggest YouTuber in the world.
I know.
Jumped on the bandwagon.
Of course.
People like want more long form content. You can,
but it could be relative. So, like, if he's the biggest in the world, if you take the 10th biggest in the world, they'll
still gonna make something.
There might be a 10th or whatever it is of that.
We'll be like, we'll post this now on X. Whereas before, I wouldn't have posted it because there's no point me posting long form content. A tweet or I talk to people.
Do you pay for the blue tick?
No.
No, I don't either. I was just wondering from a business perspective if you paid for it.
You two have blue tick, don't you?
We did,
but
you'd have to pay for the blue tick.
Even if you had it previously. I didn't know that.
Check that now.
No, X got rid of all blue ticks. So you have to pay for them.
So anyone that has one now pays for it?
Yes,
So even kind of,
anyone can get one. So you could have one follower.
Yeah, so I know everyone can have one, but like if you're Lady Gaga...
you've lost it.
She won't have one unless she
really?
pays for it,
Didn't know that.
Because completely turned it into a business.
Oprah didn't want it. What was one of them that didn't want to purchase it or something?
I'm still glad it's private and I wouldn't invest in it, but that is a better business proposition. That's for sure.
And he just fired everyone, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, and did you hear about Elon this week?
No.
What's he done?
So a court.
What's he done now?
I know it's about his income.
I did actually.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Here we go.
I saw the meme of it. It sounds awful. I saw a meme of it with his head in his hand.
Yeah, that's it.
It was the
face.
Bloomberg report.
Elon Musk's 56 billion compensation voided by a judge. So the judge has voided his 56 billion pound income deal.
That's just...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but yeah, that's pretty... He'll be appealing that and fighting it, obviously. Because he can afford to.
Even for him, that must have been that's a bit of a stress.
Absolutely.
That's not 56 million. Billion.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. But like talking about AI as well, like I said, this week is massive earnings week in the States. World's biggest companies, most of the big
Why
tech.
is this week, if not the most important earnings out of the whole of the year? Why is it this week?
I'll give you some names. Alphabet.
It always this week, as in like
kind of
roughly around this
kind
time.
of
Yeah.
yeah,
Beginning of the
kind
year.
of. They can change it, but kind of, yeah. So Alphabet, Microsoft, AMD, Starbucks, some of the world's biggest names announce their or do their earnings call, announce their results this week. And then also you've got the Fed, so the Federal Reserve in the States, they're meeting yesterday, and the Bank of England meeting today. So that's why this week is a bit of a news week.
Yeah.
So kind of don't open your app this week. No, I'm just...
Keep your eyes closed. Stay away from everything.
when Wes first to don't open the app, go on the IronMarket. What's my money done this week? It hasn't gone up. Yeah. But it did go up before, so
yeah.
Don't ask me next week.
Yeah, the impact's been interesting this week because they were, the Mag 7 or the Super 6, whatever you want to call it, if you take Tesla out of it, they were priced for perfection. And whilst, even the Microsoft beat on expectations, beat on earnings and profit expectations, forward guidance was really, really good, stock did nothing. It's already priced in. It's already rich.
And when you say it's already priced in, a bit like when we spoke about the Bitcoin ETF being released, it's already priced in. Explain that a little bit more. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's jargon, isn't that? But that's what we're essentially saying is that kind of information the market probably knows about that already. Yeah. The market knows and expects that. So that's reflected in the share price that's already there. So what,
so it'd have to be something that's completely revolutionary or something that's really going to change all of our lives for it to be okay, cool. It's still going to increase now.
Yeah,
something massive.
Yeah, the stock market is a forward-looking mechanism, forward pricing mechanism. It's pricing on what it thinks is going to happen next or in 6 months' time or 3 months' time. So coming into this year is, we had a really huge run towards the end of last year based on expecting interest rates to fall this year and start falling quickly from March and then quite heavily. So it's priced for that. If that doesn't happen, clearly then it's priced incorrectly. So you'll get a pullback. And we had a pretty sharp pullback yesterday on the back of the Alphabet results and Microsoft results and the FOMC saying, we're not cutting in March. And that's literally how that kind of mechanism works. And that was the one really interesting thing from the earnings call, because they announce the results and then they jump on a call, which you can listen to. There's an amazing app that you can genuinely...
I didn't know that. I thought that was
my God.
Listen to it.
You need, not advertising, but you need to download the Quarter app.
Okay.
It's incredible, and you can go through the earnings calls.
They're literally on the phone talking.
You listen to you have analysts.
That feels so criminal, doesn't it? Almost.
It feels like you're kind of watching like a South Park sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, that can't be real.
What you'll have on there is analysts from various houses who will be asking CFO, CEO. So Elon does his, Zuckerberg does his. Obviously, you don't get Bezos anymore because he's not CEO anymore or whatever. But they will be asking questions about the results that they've just released. And that's where you get the forward guidance in terms of what they think. So it's very much like central banks now. It's not necessarily always about what they're doing and what their numbers are. So much hangs on what they say. So if the Bank of England come out and, like today, the interest rates have stayed the same, but two of them are still voting to increase interest rates. One of them's voting to cut interest rates. So what's going on there? And they're kind of the facts, and then what you expect is what they come out and say. What is the rhetoric of that? And that's what kind of a good thing and a bad thing in the States. It never used to happen.
Yeah.
But now, if you have, so they come out, right, interest rates, we're not moving them this month. Everybody expected that. Makes loads of sense.
Yeah.
If they never said anything, we'll deal with that. The market would carry on knowing that that's the case and trying to work out when the next cut is coming or the first cut is coming. But then they have an interview. And in that interview, he's saying, we're still heading for 2%. We don't see anything that's telling us we're going to cut in March. And we'll wait for the data to come through. So therefore, the market, we priced for March, and then it has a pullback.
Yeah.
And so it's what people say, and particularly these days, and how quickly it gets released on X and on Instagram. And what they say has so much gravity. It's incredible. And that's the one thing, like with the Microsoft results, in terms of what the CEO said, Satya Nadella. He said, and this is what we're expecting. I'm expecting now. This next phase of AI. Yeah. All last year and the year before, we're talking about AI, and last year particularly, and it getting and big companies picking this up. But he said we've moved from talking about AI to applying AI at scale. And they've launched Copilot and these various programs, and it's the biggest company in the world, what they now do with it. And they haven't even done that yet. That's why it's early. They haven't even implemented it yet.
So what would you say? Like, I know there's something in my head. I haven't said this question out loud, but what would you think is the next thing that would be like, okay, this is revolutionary for a platform or hardware or software? Like, what would you see if you were like, we're sat in a meeting now, we're face to face, obviously. But
so you're saying scrapping AI?
No, I'm not about scrapping anything. I'm just talking about like an energy or a transfer of like, people will say, I need this thing or I need this. What would you say there is something out there?
So I think Apple were hoping it's Vision Pro.
Okay, I'm on your side. I'm on your side for multiple reasons. You, Kurs. Do you want us to listen to what we're going to say?
Yeah, I'm
okay. I'm on Vision Pro side.
Okay, yeah.
Because I honestly do feel it makes complete sense. Maybe not Generation 1, because Generation 1's always a bit...
Yeah.
I'm never going to buy Gen 1.
I will go with augmented reality.
But what I'm saying is, say we're here now, we're face-to-face in the meeting room.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear them, be stupid. But if we were in opposite places and we could create a concept where we feel like we're sat next to each other, I would purchase it right now. I know that I would.
Yeah.
Plus, you're on a plane, you're on a train, you're traveling, you're on the underground. Maybe not the underground, I feel like you're going to get robbed. But you can take yourself somewhere else. And imagine being able to have the opportunity to actually be stood here, sat here, and feel like you sat on a beach in Bombay, or you're going down a ski resort, or you're sat there. I'm sat in the car, Lewis Hamilton driving for Ferrari the first time, and it looks like I'm sat there with it, and I can turn and see everything. Imagine I would pay for that, and I'm stingy. I don't pay for a lot of things. I could imagine I would pay for that just to feel like I'm Lewis Hamilton driving an F1 car for Ferrari. I
don't know what the company is, but they've just created
like,
now an
imagine it like Google Maps, but you can actually stand there and see everything.
Yes, it would be very cool. And then with what they have created now, I don't know the actual company, but is a all-directional moving surface on the floor where you can have more than
Apple. Seen it? Yes.
So you can have more than one.
It is Apple.
More than one person.
But I saw this
as well.
6 years ago with you. With first-person shooter games,
yes, but it's slightly different technology. How this is,
but isn't who's done the deal with Ray-Bans?
What with the?
Is that Meta?
I think
Meta.
It is.
Is it Meta?
With the whole camera inside it and everything.
And then cameras, are really good.
Absolutely,
I thought they can be really. When we went in, and I was like, these are sick.
When I was hesitating to answer before, I was actually thinking hydrogen is something, hydrogen fuel for cars, because obviously you and me are big into cars. We all like cars. And I know, I think
I see the technology being worked.
BMW has just, I think, announced that they're scrapping to focus on EV and they're focusing on hydrogen now. Because they've figured.
This is why we like Porsche. They've never said it.
Interestingly, more locally, JCB, they went hydrogen with their diggers early.
And
didn't consider EV.
And that's why.
But when we were at Carfest, the massive tank that was sat behind the car fuel, and I was like, oh, that's a bit of a quite a hassle. It's quite a big thing to carry around.
Here's one. So like talking about the Vision Pro, but also those Ray-Ban things is going back
because Snapchat
ages.
did the Ray-Bans, and they did do quite well.
Oh, did they?
Like, you could have it live, Snapchat Live. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember Neil having a pair, and we did the O2, and he wore them whilst we were running around. They're pretty sick, actually.
But
it was a gimmick.
It was a gimmick. But
like if you're using AI and the algorithms and the way that it kind of encourages our shopping now and that kind of stuff. If you can imagine that it knows you really well and you've got something on your eyes, whether it's Vision Pro or it's Ray-Bans or whatever, and like someone like me, where I'm walking through London or whatever, and I'm looking around and it's throwing up who's where,
like Mercedes,
and what their current stock price is.
And
then FINT pops up. Do you want to trade it? Yeah, I've got But that kind of that scenario, that would be. But it knows who you are, so it might, if
knows
you're
what you're interested in.
a fitness freak,
it
might throw those
the
up.
Best gyms around the corner.
It knows your shopping habits. Oh, by the way, you're only 200 yards from, I don't know, Uniqlo or whatever it is.
To get another top, yada yada yada.
Exactly. That's where I think it could really.
If
it isn't there already,
because on Mercedes now their head-up display, like it pops on the road, showing and it's very visual. It's epic. 100% what you just said.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it makes sense.
That would be simply, it's like an open banking situation, couldn't you? If you could link that, because that would know your spendings, therefore you could
habits.
figure out your habits to then.
So right there, like the application and the implementation of AI, all of those things we've just discussed are probably already existing, and that's the conversation we had yesterday about the AI fund. It's the connection and the process of putting those things together and the stages of doing that. That's why the ecosystem around AI is so big. So like cyber security and like say the industrial sector.
But when you say AI to somebody, what do you think they think?
ChatGPT.
It's very narrow.
At this current day
Now,
made right
used to be
now,
robots, I think.
Used to be robots, and I would say it's
Terminator.
Will Smith movie, maybe. iRobot, yeah.
But that I would have thought back in the day, robots, and now it's artificial intelligence is in
ChatGPT.
Yeah, or even like auto text. It's trying to do your whole sentence for it. It's got more and more aggressive now. It's like
artificial intelligence,
trying to tell me what to do.
The one thing that everybody says the best thing that the iPhone ever does, which is if you get a code,
and it puts it straight
and
on.
you log it on and it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Best piece of
That's
AI ever.
life-changing.
Yeah.
That
Genuinely life-changing, because you never had to worry about leaving the app and then it closes and then you're losing it, and that's that.
And on Vision Pro, I know it's getting a bit of stick because it's quite pricey and like the images aren't amazing.
What is the price?
But this is
$3,000-ish.
yeah, $3,500. Yeah. This is Apple. This is Apple. You know, would you bet against an Apple product historically?
They're not going to bring someone out that's failed. They've
challenge,
never
isn't it?
brought someone out that's failed.
V1 is not version 1 of most of their stuff is doesn't perhaps take up and
but as you said,
but they refine it.
Ecosystem
Yes,
is not built there. Like people would create apps for the watch because it made sense for the watch.
Yeah.
But one thing I would argue is I think that some competitors may not make things for the Vision Pro because they think that they're going to suddenly corner the market on something that could become the next huge thing. They would hold back.
Yeah.
And I think that, say if I'm Netflix, I think actually if I put on a Vision Pro and somebody just sat there in bed, watched Netflix on a 100-inch screen, looks in the front, they're like, actually, why don't we just create our own? We've got enough money to.
True.
Why am I not creating my own thing? So I think there's going to be a bit more resistance, seeing how the App Store has taken over so much.
But then haven't they always had that resistance with every product? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then they get a new version. Just give you an example.
And everybody gives in, and then they're like, okay, we'll just go on the App Store.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. This is directionally right. I'm not exactly sure about the number, but I believe AirPods.
Yeah.
I might have told you this before, but if AirPods was its own company, it would be the third biggest company in the world,
They're
or something like third, fifth, fourth, fifth, top 10.
It was
massive.
I'm going to say the wrong number.
One product line.
100 billion or something stupid there.
Yeah, one product line that doesn't exist without one of these anyway.
One thing that Apple does, they just make sleek products, clean, simple to use,
absolutely.
Looking good products.
Brand ecosystem.
Yeah.
And once you're in, it's kind of hard to get out.
It is.
And
it's
everything
impossible.
links with each other, which is actually what we are trying to do with FINT eventually. Trying to get it all linked up together, aren't we?
Yeah, very much so. But that's the thing behind the Apple brand.
Yeah.
And obviously this is talked about a lot because of it's Microsoft's just taken over it now again, but Apple being the biggest company in the world for so long, people like Warren Buffett has Berkshire Hathaway has half of its money in Apple. But can it continue to grow? Can it continue? Share price continue to increase? And that's
how can it? My counter argument is like people kind of say, which is a hard one to sometimes actually say out loud, like let your winners run.
Yes,
because in the idea is when we really think about it. Okay, we've got all these Apple products. We're going to probably stay with Apple. I've got to pay for more storage each month. I need to update my phone. I'm going to just go with Apple again. What generation is going to slightly change that?
Yeah.
And the other aspect is the younger generation that maybe you're investing from now. Let's say you're 18, you can invest now.
Yeah.
You've only known big tech for the past.
That's right.
Nearly the whole of your life.
Yeah.
And moving forward, you probably only see big tech. It's going to be quite hard to, even if there was a change, to change the perspective of even wealth advisors like yourself. Like, well, actually, other than emerging markets and thinking of like the size of like Africa and something being a stable nation in the future, which has got so much growth, But to be brutally honest,
Yeah.
if Africa becomes like a super stable nation
Yeah.
and people have got money to spend, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Probably buy an iPhone.
Buy an iPhone.
And then you're
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah,
okay, we're back in the trap.
And the
they're gonna-
AirPods and the Vision
And then
Pro.
they're going to get more and more and more.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
create that ecosystem
That's
on
why
a
it's fascinating. Yeah.
bigger level.
Well, if I was to ask you, when did iPhone or Apple take over as, so iPhone, Android, take over as the most popular type of phone in the world?
So you had BlackBerry, didn't you?
I want to say it was
iPhone came out-
2000 and roughly around 2007. Was that when that?
Well, 2002 was it the first iPhone?
Was that when?
I can
No,
remember
was
it.
it? No, it was what?
Later than that.
Later
Was it
than
later
that?
than
Yeah,
that?
we're on 15, aren't we? So
2000, I want to say it was
Yeah.
2005.
yeah,
2004,
later than that, I think.
was it?
I'm googling this now.
We're on 15, so what's 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not, is it an iPhone?
Because I know in
2009.
2007
Yeah.
I was in year 7 in 2007 and
Well, now I
oh
feel
no, yeah,
old.
because I think
Thanks for
Dad
that.
got his first. I think Dad got the first iPhone then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go then. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was roughly.
Yeah,
around
I think
about
it's roughly around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
June
yeah, yeah.
2007 is
There
the
you
correct
go. You're right.
answer.
This is what an Apple shareholder would tell you.
that. There is loads of growth.
Okay, rewind, because I'm not sure where I lost on the camera. But anyway, the voice has still got it all. But you said, I can't.
When did Apple overtake
When did Apple
all the other phones?
become,
the leading phone.
just to clarify, so my brain can actually take this in, when did Apple, as an iPhone, take over all the other phones? Just to clarify, is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And we established that obviously the first iPhone, June of 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought 20, what did I
11,
say?
you said.
2011, and Kurt
Yeah.
said
2010. I
2009, 2010-ish.
said.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the answer is
And the answer
is 2023.
is 2023.
Which blows
I
my
don't
mind,
know
Wes.
if I can take this in. I
Blows
kind of
my
want to
mind.
say to you, you're a liar.
Okay, that's fair
That's
enough.
how it
Yeah.
kind of feels.
Yeah. I might be 18 months out or 6 months. No, I'm sure it's 2023.
Okay, even if it was 2022, 2021, 2020.
I was just thinking.
Let
in my
me
head,
frame it for you, right? So really, you've got Apple Android, right?
Yeah.
And so really, you've got Apple Samsung
Yeah.
and lots
Where
of
are all
others.
these Samsungs?
So
Think of the flip phones. Think of all of these things, AJ. There's
Where
a lot.
are they,
where
though?
is the biggest population of people in the world?
Asia.
China.
Yes, China. Where's the second?
America.
India.
Sorry, yes, India.
India.
No, yeah, India. Yeah.
So China, India. China, the go-to has always been Android.
But they always make the iPhones.
They do, or have.
Always
Yeah.
been Androids, yeah. And this is, I was just before thinking,
In the
how
West,
does Apple grow?
It's this by a mile.
I was thinking, how does Apple grow? But in reality, then, if Apple's only just overtaken it, Apple's got so
There's
much
still
growing
more
room
margin.
there.
Yeah,
And that was the
that's
argument
the whole-
before with Africa. Like,
Yeah,
imagine
great
the
argument,
youngest
yeah.
generation,
Yeah.
moving forward, male, they're going to want the trendiest
Yeah.
thing. And
New middle class and all that, the growth that comes with
iPhone
that.
is the trendy thing
Absolutely,
to have.
yeah.
You always got to have the new iPhone. You always got to have the new
Yeah.
AirPods.
So what's
as we
Apple
spoke
worth
about.
at the moment? About $3 trillion?
They're a $3 trillion
$3
company,
trillion
yeah. Yeah,
company.
yeah. And so Microsoft now, yeah. Yeah.
So Microsoft as well now.
Because
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI. And all
Yeah,
that.
and it
Yeah.
went crazy last year with the AI kind of, can't call it a craze. AI enthusiasm,
Yes.
we'll call it. Yeah. And like say if their CEO is just saying, now this is when we start implementing it.
Yeah.
They're really not generating revenue from AI yet.
So coming back to what we said,
Technically.
like in the beginning, you've grown up, you've only known big tech, you only know
Yeah,
other
yeah.
than streaming services.
Yeah,
but
true.
that's on a
Yeah,
separate
yeah.
side
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah, yeah.
We'll come back to that in a second. The growth is always going to be there because you're going to think like what we thought. Well, think of all the country that
Yeah.
hasn't got consumed by the
Yeah,
Apple ecosystem and taken over by it, and then streaming services like that's a whole other thing. Like the new generation, like, well, I'm not going to pay a TV license. I don't watch TV.
Yep.
I'm just going to do streaming. Okay, we grow. Like you pay for sports separately or something. When the streaming services take the sports networks as well, like you just saw a great PR stunt you had, obviously your favourite fan Kurt as The Rock ringing in the bell.
Yeah, NYSE.
I was like,
Yeah,
New York Stock
absolutely.
Exchange,
Yeah,
Dwayne Rock Johnson, that's bringing out the big guns. That looks
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it is, yeah.
Again, a
Yeah.
$5 billion deal with Raw, like
Yeah. Yeah.
500 million a year. Like these sorts of big deals, like it's bringing in more energy, more like if I'm a fan of F1 and I knew that F1 was on Netflix, I would never cancel Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah.
You watch Drive to Survive,
Yep.
and you love it, and it's saying it's coming soon, so I can't wait. But at the end of the day,
You
it's
want to
not-
watch the race. It's not.
I want to watch the race on
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
still watch the documentary
Yeah,
afterwards. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong, but I want to watch the race on
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like, when do they start bidding
So here's,
and taking
and
that?
it's good that you say that. Like this is where it's really interesting with Alphabet,
Yeah.
Google's parent company, in that they had a slight miss on part of their and down 8%.
Yeah.
Got really hit by because they're priced for perfection because what happened last year. But if you think obviously they own YouTube, isn't it only a matter of time before YouTube just says, "Oh, we'll just do all TV"?
Oh, it would work wonders for them as well.
So
I don't
and
understand
they
why
haven't
don't.
really made YouTube.
But what do you
YouTube
mean by that?
so
Because in my opinion, it's already is all
Sports.
TV to younger people.
live sports.
Live sports.
YouTube
Yeah.
gets live sports. It does live golf as an example.
Yep.
You know, as a start to it. YouTube gets live sports. Who else survives? You know, from a broadcasting
Well,
perspective,
all of us with our iPhones, YouTube's on there ready to go.
as an app,
As an
in its
app.
on its own
I
right,
don't even have to.
with push notifications and everything that comes with that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going live now.
So it's like, okay, surely that's already.
Yeah. So
It
like
has
then,
more users
what does
than
that then
TV, it
mean
has more
for?
users than Netflix? It has more
Yeah, I mean,
users than
Netflix has had an
everything.
amazing resurgence because it got it right. You know, it had made some mistakes, got it right.
They did it like, okay, we're going to crack down passwords.
Yep.
We're going to
Yep.
make sure the people that are actually using it
Oh,
are
it's-
paying for it.
they want
Yeah.
And
Netflix,
therefore,
yeah.
oh my God, we're going to lose everybody. No. Everybody loves it that much. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay for an account now because I've lost my friend.
No, they
sharing.
did it smart. They just did. You add on £3 to add another account to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people were.
So
obviously
my
sharing it.
Netflix now I'm paying is £18. I've just had another one come through
I'm
saying
sharing somebody else's.
I can
account.
add another 2 people on and pay £25 a month now for my Netflix.
Yeah.
So they just keep upping.
They
the
added a
price
revenue to the
every
problem.
single- yeah.
That's an amazing
Yeah.
thing to do,
And,
and
you
that's
would
why
worry
it's
that
turned.
like they're
Yeah.
going to do a
You
runner,
know?
but no,
Yeah.
you can't do a runner because damn it, they do a great job of creating
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
TV shows.
That's why they turn it. And I think this next phase, that's the really interesting thing. The next phase is probably around these companies that have got like Alphabet have got YouTube. And have they really maximised that?
No, they haven't.
And where can they take
No.
others out? You know, Disney Plus is probably in a bit of trouble with that. You know, it's not quite made what it needed to do work. You know, I love Disney, but it hasn't.
But okay. You understand the markets and you understand. And we spoke fundamentally there about live sports is something that you can't deny is like.
Can I say with Disney, I think it's because they have a young. People think it's for young programs, but in reality, they actually have up to 18 programs on.
Well,
there.
I think they bought ESPN
Yeah.
for the
But
sport
what
thing.
would you
It
like?
hasn't worked out really.
I think Disney Plus. Why watch Disney Plus here in the UK? And I've got like Dave and all these other channels that
Yeah.
really add. They do add value to it.
Yeah.
I went to America. I was in LA and was watching it, and I was able to watch other things
They've
like
got-
Dancing with the Stars live.
Yeah.
I was able to watch their
Yeah.
programs and see other stuff, but I wasn't able to watch all the movies that I wanted to watch.
Right,
I'd be
okay.
able to watch in the UK.
Right.
And you didn't have all them other channels like Dave and all that.
See, that's
so
interesting.
you got more value for your money in the
In the
UK,
UK.
with Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
They have more
I
streaming
went to
platforms out
America.
there, because then
Yeah.
you have to get Hulu, then you have to
Yeah,
get this,
and that's what I'm saying. I didn't get the value of what I was paying for.
That's really interesting because
Other than I love Dancing with the Stars, so I was happy I got
yeah,
to watch
of course,
that. But not in the UK.
obviously Disney's an American company, so my information on Disney comes from the US predominantly.
Yeah.
And they're really negative on it. In fairness, but that's
We've
such a
got-
good observation.
We've
Their
got-
version of it isn't as
their
good as
version
ours.
of it, it's
So,
not
yeah.
even half as good as ours.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I understand when I hear American people talk about it because
Yeah,
it's better over
it's better
here.
over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah.
one thing that I want to talk to you about, Wes. We could even wrap it up with this one. How do you get your knowledge? Do you enjoy listening to other thought leaders in their areas and being open to their opinions, or do you prefer to be closed-minded and be like, this is the way that we work within IronMarket, and yes, we don't say pick individual stocks,
Yeah.
but it keeps it a bit more closed-minded, so I can be a bit not dictatorial, but a bit like, oh, I'm not going to get influence, because sometimes people take
Yeah,
influence. It's
yeah.
not good for some people.
What are your trusted methods?
Yeah, no, I think it's a
It's personal, that's what it is
it's
sometimes.
a really great question because
Because
there
there's
is
too much
so
information.
much. There is so much,
And we love podcasts as well. We love listening to other podcasts.
I mean, I suppose the primary thing I would say is I am obsessed.
Yeah.
I love this thing,
Yeah.
love it. But even if I didn't, there is such a wide range of information sources, and it does take a bit of experience to know what is a good source and a bad source.
Yeah.
And there is an old phrase, and I probably shouldn't.
That's scary, you even saying that. It takes a lot of experience to actually realise what's good and what's a bad source.
It does.
People love clickbait now. We know it in our industry. People make money through media, through bad information, because they know there's going to get more clicks on a negative story than a positive story.
And that's one thing that I just want to say now.
Sorry, but it's true.
I'm going to say this out loud. Look, like FINT, I want that to be a safe space for people to come and actually know that it is safe knowledge.
Exactly.
It's real knowledge,
correct.
and it's learning stuff. It isn't fake stuff.
I mean, we want to educate and help. It helps. The more that people know, I've loved it since I've been doing this job. You know, being in wealth and being a financial advisor is it with each interaction, with each meeting, is the person opposite me or next to me knows more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what detail, but if each time they know more, we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do on a larger scale and a quicker cadence with FINT. But back to the kind of the sources, there are so many, and it's very easy to get distracted. And there is an old saying that if one analyst is telling you it's raining and the other analyst is telling you that it's sunny, take a look out the effing window. So that actually answers your question a little bit.
I thought you were going to give us something real good there, Leslie. That was brilliant. Just take a look out the effing window.
I was looking at you like, where's
this going?
Where's this going? I'm just waiting for some like Buddhist monk.
So true, though. It's so true.
Exactly.
It really is sometimes.
And so the answer is, I am not closed. I take a lot of, we have really trusted economists.
So you're looking out the window.
Yeah, we have really trusted economists and analysts that we work with on a regular daily basis, and their sources information, their data points, and their papers are phenomenal in driving an understanding of what's going on. Yeah. But it's always up to me to take a look out the window and see what the weather actually is.
Okay, I know I said this would have been the end, but you just given yourself, love the analogy, cracked us up, because I don't know where we're going. But is there a moment within IronMarket the past 10 years with your trading that you've been like, I need to look out the window today? Like, because there's so much information.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
There's one moment that I'm definitely thinking, but I'd like to hear from you first.
I think like really recent examples in going through December last year into January this year, and looking to set our strategies up both across FINT and IronMarket for 2024. There's a lot going on, and potentially a huge amount going on into 2024.
Yeah.
And you always want to put, I'm obsessed with this, but I'm also equally obsessed with getting the right outcomes for the investors at the end.
Yeah.
And that in a decision conflict is always a challenge. So the bit of looking out the window I did was actually, I think what I might do is just take my umbrella with me.
Yeah.
And so what I decided to do was not do anything, and was to wait and let the information and the data, let it feed through, and let's see actually what the weather is before I decide to put my coat on or put my shorts on.
Yeah.
Okay, my point was going to be, which probably doesn't affect the market so much on a wider range, but it kind of did, Brexit.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's
a blast from the past.
You're like, well, which way is it going to go? How is it going to affect the market? Was it going to be good? But obviously on a wider American market, to the S&P 500, to FTSE 100, slightly different impact.
Of course.
But I was kind of thinking like that moment, the North thought one thing, the South thought another thing. And then we still didn't know what was going to happen. But what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really interesting time, because obviously I'm from the North, but I spent a lot of time in the South, and understanding and really kind of seeing what a bubble it can be down there, particularly in London.
Very much
what
so.
a bubble it can be, and not to a person I was talking to during that time when it was getting closer to the vote. I was in asset management groups, research groups, technology providers, all different kinds of linked to what we do, and to a person they were all no, of course we won't vote to leave, that's an idiotic thing. And I was saying, if you get yourself north of Watford, you will find that people are very passionate about this, and they will take action. And what you've got down there is a more passive kind of tolerant kind of society, and probably less inclined to go and do something, frankly.
Yeah.
Whereas, further north, they may have the wrong impression of what Brexit is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
They're being
matter.
sold something different.
That doesn't matter. If they've got a feeling and they can go and take action and do something about it, they will. Yeah. So my thought was, and I've got it written down so I can prove it, that we would vote to leave. Now, it was ridiculously close in the end, but I always thought that would be the vote.
Yeah.
And again, knowing our members as I do, and I know kind of how the retail investor thinks, that they would prefer to miss out on a temporary drop than miss out on a lift if we voted to remain, and which is how I thought it would impact the markets, even if it be temporary. So that's the one and only time I did make the decision just to go to cash short term. So I actually took a discretionary decision, and prior to the Brexit vote, I put everyone in cash during the vote. Markets fell about 5 or 6%. Popped everybody back in. Markets recovered. That's the only time I've ever been really active.
When you say you put everyone into cash, what do you actually mean? Do you just
taken everybody's money,
you've literally pulled everything out,
disinvested everyone. Yeah. It's the only time I've ever.
So when you did that, and you obviously did it,
that's a big move.
Yeah.
How much money are you taking out in cash there? All of the clients' money, the whole of IronMarket,
pretty much. All of it.
Yeah. I told everyone I was doing it before I did it. But also, if you've got discretion and you it's all about the right outcome.
Yeah, but as well, we
for the person, for the family,
because we trust you as well.
Yeah, so absolutely.
If you believe that's the right decision, we trust.
And that trust thing, that trust is so important, and it's the biggest thing the biggest part of what we do. Yeah. And I take it so seriously, and it's that bit, the trust bit, that how is this going to impact the families and the people? I know them. I know these people. We all do, collectively, and we know how it would impact them. So that was the kind of decision. Let's say the only one time I did it, and with that, unlike there's a lot of things you can't predict.
It's quite a scary thing to do. That
very,
pulling everything out. So
so you need a level of confidence in your decision. But again,
but you made a decision. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
in reality,
on balance.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. The worst that can happen in reality is it goes up a couple of percent,
and they missed out.
And they missed out a couple of percent up.
Yeah. And that's not a great outcome.
But not a great outcome.
On balance.
But it's more like to go, if it goes the other way,
absolutely,
it's definitely not going up.
Yeah. And it was very UK focused, that kind of thing, wasn't it? Let's face it. So,
but it's still, because I was in Boston at this time in America, and they closed the stock market, didn't they?
Right, okay.
In America, waiting to see what happened for UK Brexit.
Wow, okay.
And that affected the market. Because I was there, and all the Americans asked me, what would you do? And I think we're going to leave, because I'm up north listening to what the farmers are saying and what's being put on the side of the buzz with the NHS.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they all got on their phones and were kind of like talking to their sort of stock people, like, please monitor this, because the UK is a very strong hub for international trade, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nothing gets the human condition, particularly the British, to do something more than anger.
Yeah.
Oh, amen.
Isn't that true?
It's so true.
You can be the happiest person in the world. That's not going to make you do stuff.
If you're the British off, and that's
exactly. Yes. That will make me press.
Dry humour, but still.
That will make me press the button. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I thought.
I love that question. I'm happy I had on that question. I think this should become I'm going to say fortnightly, because a weekly thing is just a nightmare.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's probably not going to happen. Let's start fortnightly.
So it goes.
We can always have one on.
That's challenging enough.
Yeah. I think we should try and make this a fortnightly thing. Either in person here or down south.
On Vision Pro.
Or on Vision Pro. Which would be sick, to be honest.
Let me just remortgage my house
would
first.
Be good
just to get that.
That would be sick, though, wouldn't it? Like,
it would be good to try.
It
would be good to try.
Well, it will.
It's
at some
£12,000 investment, probably.
That's true.
Is it worth that?
But at some point, it will become that. Have you ever seen the film Ready Player One?
Yeah,
Ready
yes,
Player One.
Amazing. Yeah,
it's that concept, straightforward.
That may be a little bit far fetched in the future, but
I don't think it's that far off in some aspects.
It really is something similar to that. What we're getting into.
It was a good film.
They know what they're doing when they make these things. And the best example I've ever had of that. Somebody told me this once when I was kind of training or whatever, and they said if you think about TV and film.
Yeah.
They're always at the forefront.
They're at the forefront. And the best example they ever gave me, did you ever watch Star Trek? I was like, well, yeah, I think I watched it once or twice. Do you remember the doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You know, they used to go like that.
Yeah.
So that didn't exist back then when they were making the first Star Trek.
What?
So there was two people either side.
And just think
what
that
do you
is-
then see in every supermarket and every store?
Doors, yeah.
The most annoying one is always like you see the cartels and they're always trading in Bitcoin, aren't they?
Yeah.
All them films back then, you're always
They're
like,
not so good.
that says a lot, doesn't it?
Not so good.
But it's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Art
Yeah.
and Bitcoin was in all of the
Yeah.
cartel sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We've got the
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah.
We've got the Bitcoin, all the cash in the wall, obviously.
Yeah,
There's always cash
of
in the
course.
wall somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, art just is a big tax evasion, let's be honest.
Well, it absolutely can be. Yeah. Evasion, we don't like that word. Yeah.
Because valuing his artwork.
Another old adage. I love giving these adages because I think you guys have heard them before. You may have heard this one, but the difference between tax avoidance and evasion.
No, give it to me.
Throw it at me, Wes. Throw it at me.
The thickness of a prison cell. They're like dadisms, aren't they?
That is so true, though, yeah.
Exactly.
God, have you got-
Avoidance is fine, evasion is definitely not.
have you
Let
got
me make
one-
sure that I
have you
get my wording right then on that.
got- I want another one. Have you got one more?
No, Wes, we want for every single
I'll save some.
episode,
Save
I want
some,
one.
save
One
some.
at the end of each
Yeah,
one.
I can't hit with every single one.
Save some. Yeah.
Wording with Wes.
You've had the best today.
Yeah, the best of it. I'll sip up all them parts and put them out there for you.
I've got some more.
collab them with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Just look out the window.
Look out the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
That's
It's an old one that as well. Yeah. It's been around a bit, that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
because it works.
But in fairness, it's because it works. And being brutally honest, you know, if I'm in a stupor of looking through research papers and data points and not sure what decision to make on a particular area, then that's the phrase I say back to myself.
It's what I said.
Oh, yeah,
with
you're
Disney
right,
Plus.
actually.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I went there, used Disney Plus, didn't
Yeah.
like it over there,
Yeah.
love it here.
Yeah.
Two very different opinions.
Yeah.
You hear the opinion from the Americans, but you're using it in the UK.
Yeah.
You're getting
My feeling is different.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're trading on a different reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have a different relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's sometimes harder when, obviously, in the UK we have one side, in America the other side. It's two very different worlds.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the market over there is obviously much bigger and different influences and nationalities, personalities.
Yeah, it's bigger,
English,
more information, more data
American.
points. Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
So I take the information in with a pinch of salt. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Or they would say over there, another one. They say a grain of salt, and it's just wrong, isn't it?
A grain
It's a
of
pin-
salt.
Oh, I feel like I've got sand in my
Or a
teeth
grain
when
of
you said
sand.
that.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
It's a pinch of salt because it's that, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd pinch some salt.
I'll take some of the pinch of salt because I'm not sure about the taste of it.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah,
the phrase
that's
comes
because
from.
they wouldn't take a pinch, put it on the food, they'd put a handful on.
Oh no, we've gone anti-American.
Oh no, we can't do that. No, we love
Moved
America.
over to America.
Cut that.
I love America. Okay, on that note, we'll do a little roundup.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of.
This is officially the first episode of, we'll call it Freedomimpact Trust. We'll call it what? Money Talks?
Yeah, I think
Money Talks?
Yeah.
FINT? Money Talks?
FINT Money Talks. We
Fint.
love that.
Well, you'll see it on the
Money
title,
Talks,
whatever it is.
Yeah. It's going to be one of them, yeah.
Sorry guys, I realised
Yeah, you've really
I
let the
actually
team down today, by the way.
haven't worn a FINT
Yeah.
You know what's weird, AJ? I've actually got 3 FINT tops in my bag
With
as
you.
well.
I've been going hot and cold, and then I didn't know if I was hot and didn't know it was cold, and then I was preparing everything.
I've got a short sleeved one and a hoodie.
I've got an idea.
I'm
So
doing the
because
camera, the mics, everything's happening.
you're not branded up,
Yeah.
I think we should think of a forfeit as to what you wear in the next episode.
Just a bigger fit hoodie.
Oh, we won't be that kind.
I'd come as a giant F. Just like Easter, and then an I, and then
A giant F and point to the window.
There's an adult store around the corner.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Wise
Why would I know that?
Perfect.
We will scrap
yeah,
it.
I'm out of it.
That's good.
Thank you, that was really good.
That was nice, actually.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Thank you, really enjoyed that.
It's what we talk about anyway on the phone,
Literally is.
Yeah.
and then we never document it.
Absolutely makes sense. Just put it out there, doesn't it?
So the one that we did, when I was at my granddad's house, that's like the first introduction.
That was good.
Well, at least we've done a step up from.
Yeah.
We've increased.
Yeah.
We've 10x'd it already.
Yeah, background wise, that's
You said I need to get a better background.
yeah.
background lighting, mics, like it's a better experience.
Also, just from my perspective, because there's I've got analysts, economists that I talk to, and we're very specific when we talk. I don't really have the opportunity to riff about it, and it is quite cathartic. It's good fun. Yeah, it is good. It is good.